with comics, and I've been reading it in the past and will be more. But and you people following us on Facebook would be older, but our actual demographic is between the ages of 13 and 17. And what they get out of our page, because we put up all sorts of information beyond, which goes beyond just our events, is something that still puzzles us, and we keep asking at our conventions is what they like about us, what they do when they come online, and how they use it. So for me, when I use Facebook, I'm trying to figure out what a 13-year-old is actually taking away from Facebook. For me, it's very important to figure out what this core audience that comes to my page, and our events are driven socially, through social media. So, what are they taking back, and why are they coming there, and what interests them, and what attracts them? And it's very difficult to find that out.
This difference in behavior, is it really critical and important when you are developing content and entertainment products for young people, Denise?
I think you really do need to understand your audience. Yes, I think it is. You have to understand who you're developing your content for, how they're going to be accessing it, what are they looking for. We learned early on that kids, they have very specific ideas about what they do want to see. They don't want to be talked down to. They don't want to be treated as if they are children. They have very specific things that they enjoy, and you always have to keep on trend, and every year it evolves. 1 year it might be, kids are into cooking, and then the next year it might be kids are into, pets, or who knows. So you have to stay on top of that, because it's ever changing, ever evolving, and you really do have to understand that audience, even as, the essence of children, and the fact that they're always trying to figure out who they are and define who they are is a constant.
Marita, is there any insight that you can share with us about the Indian child, for example, as compared to, for example, the American child? This was 2001, and we were looking to relaunch Discovery Kids as a proposition, and I was part of the team involved in that. So we were looking for ideas specifically for the international channels of Discovery Kids. So we needed something that would work for that age group in Latin America, in India, in Africa, the Middle Eastern beam. We had to tap into something very universal if it was going to air all over the world. And what we found is that actually what kids want to know about within an age group is the same, regardless of where they're from. How you explain it to them? They want to explore the world. 4 to 9-year-olds are particularly curious. They have a lot of questions. They're articulate enough to expect good answers back. So when we looked at the kind of programs that would work for them, it was the same all over the world. So when you're looking at the subject of Mystery Hunters is that you set up Bigfoot or the Yeti or the Loch Ness Monster, or is there a ghost, or does the Bermuda Triangle really exist? Those are big questions that every child has curiosity about. Now, if we were to do that in India, we might choose different mysteries. The mysteries themselves might be different. We may talk about a fort like Shaniwara and whether there's a ghost there. But when we do it for Latin America, we may talk more about things that are relevant to their culture. But the process of storytelling and the process of uncovering the truth and discovering what's real, or is the answer, is the same for kids everywhere.
I'm just wondering something. It's a question rather than my statement. Why are we still overpowering with the international productions, so whether Korean, American, whatever, and except few mythological characters from India, there's no stories for children in India. I have an 8-year-old son. I watch TV with him, And it's very interesting. That's one part of the channel. The other is, I run a screenwriting lab for children and television for last 3 years with European support, with British Council support. Every story which comes, we get like 700 scripts every year. None of them mythological. It's pure Indian stories, but there's no producers, nobody supports them,
I really do think that children are interested in knowing about things that are not just from their immediate surroundings. They do want to know about the world. What did you say on this?
No, it's a very simple view on this. Korean or Japanese productions, if you ask a child what nationality is Benton, where does Benton come from, they won't say it's a US, they'll probably say it's probably from Delhi or Bombay or somewhere. Because they are watching Ben 10 speak in Hindi only, or if you go to South and Tamil and Telugu. So for them, there are no boundaries. And animation is the only and the best medium which actually crosses boundaries. If it's a Korean production, if you look at shows like Doraemon, they wouldn't say Doraemon is a Japanese character, right? Kids won't say that. We know, so we say that. So in their mind, it doesn't matter.
Some of the things that surprises you when you do a group work, when you do some research with children, is that if they know that it's something that you as an older person or parent is not likely to find good or proper or relevant, they're more likely to be attracted to it. Does this factor into how you're developing what you develop, Marita?
Absolutely. I mean, I think multiple rounds of research that I've been privy to have shown that kids obviously want access to things that they don't have. They are more, I mean, I would say adults have that curiosity as well, but for kids it's much amplified. So you can play, you can do a lot with that in your content.
Krishna, is this something you would agree with? Kids are fearless.
Well, that's certainly fearless, they're more confident. What used to work 3-4 years back for a 4 to 9-year-old doesn't work for them. You have preschool targeted shows that used to work beautifully with the 4+ audiences. They just don't work because the 4 onwards audiences are already into shows that are targeted to elder audiences.
Kids are now older, younger. How important is safety in terms when you're developing what you're developing, not just from a personal security point of view, but also from a developmental and emotional safety point of view? And what kind of filters do you have when you are creating what you're creating for young people? Starting with you, maybe, Jeff.
It's obviously you have to make sure that things are clean and safe enough for parents to encourage their children to buy it or at least pick it up.
Not minding that Archie now has gay characters and X-Men, that whole worldview that's very different from maybe what we're accustomed to.
I think Archie, at least in terms of for readers here, is just completely harmless. And in fact, they sell more than Indian comic books. So in India, so I know they've introduced a gay character. In fact, X-Men is having a gay marriage, and then Batwoman is gay as well. But in terms of Archies, no, I don't think people have an issue here. But yes, when it comes to Marvel or DC Comics, there's a lot of violence, and it's drawn for a certain audience. So I've seen kids saying, "I want that," but parents telling them, "No, why don't you read Tintin or Asterix?"
Krishna, when you're in terms of programming, etc., what kind of safety filters do you keep top of mind?
Oh, we have a very formal process because we understand that television is the most powerful medium, so we're very, very careful of what we do and what we show on our channels. So there's in fact a separate team that just polices content that sort of goes to at a script level, at the animatics level, at a post-production level, and go through a fine-tooth comb, and of course at a language level as well, because that's 50% of the content.
But how do you then bridge this gap between kids wanting a little bit of the forbidden and the need to, have their parents ensure that it's not too far? What is too far?
I think a larger need, would be, like I said, mental stimulation. The need to get entertained, is larger than to enter into realms that they are not allowed to. So if you have a magical script, you have endearing characters, that's enough to pull them. We see it time and again on our channel.
Now that I Am Kalam, hugely successful, in terms of then developing these kind of, this entertainment, a very different kind of entertainment for young people, what are the safety filters that you would have or you would employ?
I think there's a huge problem happening in cinema because it starts with the censorship. Because I Am Kalam, when I took it for the censor board, they said, okay, we'll give you certificate. I said, I want a children's certificate, so that I take it to the schools also later. Of course, you can take it to the school without a certificate even. Because today, there was an interesting thing happening. The censorship you do in cinema, you start asking them to watch adult cinema and all that, adult license which has got a UA or whatever, or a certificate like Delhi Valley. But before the film gets released, the child who was a pirated version and comes back and he sings like a national anthem becomes like Bhag Bhag Bike Bos, And Houseful 2 becomes their favorite film.